Hope I find you well. What I wanted to talk about today is this trap that a lot of us fall into, and I think it's this false dichotomy as far as what we should be doing with our lives. For example, I think a lot of us have this idea that there is either this you can live your life basically one of two ways. You can be this, white picket fence, 2.5 kids in the suburbs kind of life, or you can be this crazy artist, going to Thailand for months at a time and getting into Reiki and alternative healing and all these things. And I think we really have two pictures in our head. And like, we have the standard suburban life, and then we have the wildlife. And I think a lot of us at least at first anyhow, a lot of us get out of that suburban life picture because that's not what we want. And then we start living this other life, but really it's the same because we're doing what we think we should be doing. We're not listening to ourselves necessarily, although we did a little bit, right? Because you realize that, hey, I don't want what everyone else is doing or what most other people are doing. But then you started listening to the alt crowd, and you just blindly followed the alt crowd, and you started doing the same things you were doing that were killing you in the normal crowd. You were living somebody else's idea of what your life should be. So I just encourage you guys, don't get stuck on that. Although you might have to do that at first, right? Maybe you will have to go, okay, I don't want this. What's everybody else doing? And try some shit. But remember, don't just blindly buy into the idea, because honestly, guys, like, there's a lot of bullshit in that crowd too. In fact, you know what? I find a higher percentage of sociopaths in the alternative crowd. Well, maybe certain aspects of the alternative crowd, I find much higher percentage of sociopaths than I do amongst the normal population. So, I guess what I'm saying is, realize that you can do not what everybody else is doing and still be buying into somebody else's idea of what's best for you. Because what's best for you might be a combination, right? Like, I know guys that they work normal day jobs or fairly normal day jobs, and they do stuff like ayahuasca and sweat lodges on the weekends, right? And they're fairly happy doing it. They've found their kind of balance. So don't let other people define you, and realize that, yeah, just doing the alternative thing, you may still be letting other people define you. As always, onward and upward.